Thank you. Greg Giles. Mr. Secretary, what additional measures do you think we need to strive for in order to deter Iran from producing nuclear weapons?
Well, I think, frankly, we need more help from the Europeans, from some of the other countries around the world that do business with Iran. The measures that have been taken are having some impact, economic impact in Iran. And maybe that impact will be magnified by $62 oil as opposed to $147 oil. And I really believe that we need to focus on the political and economic pressures. I think that if you could have a verifiable arrangement that the Iranians had forsworn nuclear weapons and a nuclear warhead program, that the other countries, the international community, would probably be willing to work with the Iranians in terms of figuring out a way where they could get enriched uranium for civil power, civil nuclear power. There have been talks about them using a Russian enriched uranium bank and so on. And if we could get verifiable arrangements to all of that, I don't think that the international community is concerned about Iran having civil nuclear power to produce electricity. What worries us is their apparent intention to develop nuclear weapons. I believe they are determined to develop nuclear weapons at this point. I think that pressures from the international community and pressures that cause them, economic pressures that cause them difficulty at home, still have promise in terms of getting them to make a policy decision to go in another direction. And it probably involves also some kind of assurances with respect to security. The key, though, is getting them to stop the enrichment process and then beginning to see what we can work out. I think there's potential there, but so far they've not shown much interest in it. I will tell you, there's been a lot of conversation about this. I've spent 30 years in the search for the elusive Iranian moderate. When Jessica and I were working together under Dr. Brzezinski, I was with Spig when he was at the 25th anniversary of the Algerian Revolution. And we got word that the Iranian leadership wanted to meet with him. This was October 1979. And Spig got permission to do this. So we met with the Prime Minister, Defense Minister, and Foreign Minister of the new Iranian Revolutionary Government. I think it was the first senior-level meeting with the Iranian leadership since the revolution. And Brzezinski laid it all out. He said, we will sell you the weapons that we had contracted to sell the Shah. We will recognize your revolution. We will work with you because we have a common enemy to your north, the Soviet Union. And he laid it all out in strategic terms for them. They said, give us the Shah. It went back and forth like that for about 2 hours. And finally, Brzezinski got up, turned to him and said, to give you the Shah would be a violation of our national honor. That ended the meeting. 3 days later, they seized the embassy. And 2 weeks later, all three of those guys were out of power. Thus began the American attempt to reach out to the revolutionary regime in Iran. And the truth of the matter is, every American administration since then has tried to reach out, sometimes with catastrophic consequences, if you remember the Reagan administration.